ARDMS OBGYN registration question practice 25 to 32 is we are trying to easy learning and comparing the question together. I really apologize for my accent and thank you that you're tolerating me. If in this image, M is myometrium, C is chorionic membrane, and this part is chorionic fluid, and A is amniotic fluid, and a membrane that is thin. The thick, small white circle is yolk sac, and this white spot is embryo. Then, which one is contained in double bleb sign? 1. Chorion plus amnion. 2. Yolk sac plus amnion. 3. Yolk sac plus chorion. 4. Yolk sac plus embryo. Yes, it is 2 side by side sacs, amnion and yolk sac. They are side by side, and they can be visible by transvaginal 5 to 7 gestational age weeks, and it is very important double bleb sign, these two circles. Which gestational week should be for all attaching amniotic sac and chorionic sac? Perfect. It is 16 weeks. Fusion is between 12 to 16 gestational age. If after 16 weeks we see amnion is separate from chorionic membrane and the fusion does not occur, so an aneuploidy, we know that aneuploidy means we have extra chromosome or less chromosome. So trisomies 21, 18, or 13, or Turner that has one chromosome less than normal, only one X, XO instead of XX or XY, or previous amniocentesis needle cause they put separate from each other. Amniotic sac grows millimeter per day. Yes, perfect. Every day 1 millimeter, like crown rump length or mean gestational sac diameter that grows 1 millimeter, but yolk sac grows every day 0.1 millimeter. Amniotic fluid after weeks is dominantly fetal urine. Yes, correct. After 14 to 16 weeks, we know that most of the fluid, amniotic fluid, is from urine. When the baby pees, or it is the urine, fetal urine, so amniotic site gets larger and larger and fused with chorionic sac and membrane and attached together by 16 weeks. Normal amniotic fluid before cannot rule out the renal agenesis. So before 14 to 16 weeks, we have normal amniotic fluid, and the baby even hasn't any renal parenchyma. So in renal agenesis before 14 to 16 weeks, the amniotic fluid is normal, and after 14 to 16 weeks, it is with severe oligohydramnios. It is about renal agenesis that is bilateral. So bilateral renal agenesis and bilateral obstruction before the bladder or urethral valve obstruction like urethral valve membrane are associated with oligohydramnios, like posterior urethral valve. What is double suck sign? Double decidual sign. A. Two hyperechoic concentric lines. B. Decidua-capsularis and decidua-parietalis. C. Decidua-capsularis and decidua-vera. D. All. Yes, it is all. Because the other name for decidua-parietalis is decidua-vera. Here we have a gestational sac, and all the white or hyperechoic are endometrial decidual reaction. And we separate this part here. These two lines, these two white lines are double decidual sign or double suck sign. Both are endometrium. This here, the black part is gestational sac and embryo. We cannot see embryo here because it is too early, about 4 or 5 weeks, and before even 5 weeks, because we don't see the yolk sac yet. So this part is decidua-capsularis around the baby, not the part of placenta. Placenta is here. And here we have endometrial canal, and then here and it is decidua, vera or parietalis, the other wall of the endometrium, the other side of the endometrium of the uterus. So the other side of the endometrium, decidua-parietalis or vera, the outer black half circle line endometrial cavity that when the baby is growing, they these two attach together and occluded this space is occluded or obstructed, the endometrial canal. And here gestational sac, and here decidua-capsularis, around the embryo. Here we have the bladder, all the uterus. It is eccentric, not in the center part. Eccentric is very important, and this double decidual sign. Decidua always means mother layer, outer, the endometrium of the mother. Chorion always trophoblastic cells, outer of the baby, inner in comparison to endometrium. Before yolk sac, eccentric, not in the center of the uterus, we see this two layer, gestational sac 1 to 2 millimeter with double sac sign confirmed intrauterine pregnancy. If it is in the center of the endometrial cavity without double decidual sign, it is a collection of fluid in the endometrial canal and pseudo-gestational sac that we can see it in 20% of cases of ectopic pregnancy, and we should search for ectopic pregnancy in the adnexal or everywhere. This is the other side of the fundus. The white side, we tell that the white are decidual reaction. This part is the future placenta, contains decidua basalis and trophoblastic cells or chorionic frondosome. And this one is gestational sac. Which one is correct? With attention to this image. A Down syndrome or trisomy 21, stomach and duodenum, double bubble sign, congenital obstruction of the second part of the duodenum. Yes, all, because trisomy 21, about 30% of duodenal obstruction or duodenal atresia are the patients with Down syndrome. This is stomach and this is duodenum, vertebrae, left side and right side, anterior, posterior of the baby. So it is double bubble sign because after the delivery of the baby, we can see it on the X-rays. And it is due to obstruction of the duodenum here. Uterine cavity or endometrial cavity obstructed by the chorion without villi, decidua-parietalis, decidua-capsularis, or all. Yes, it is all. The non-placental part of the chorion will lose the villi or villi and attach inside to the amniotic membrane. Outside attaches to the decidual capsularis. Imagine they are three layer inside amniotic, then chorionic, and then decidual capsularis that gets thinner and thinner, and with growing the fetus, it attaches to the decidua-parietalis and obstructs the uterine cavity. So, for obliterating the uterine cavity, they grow and finally attach to the decidua-parietalis on the other side or other wall of the endometrial cavity or decidua-parietalis. So, decidua-parietalis, decidua-vera is the same, the endometrial reaction outside the placenta and not around the implanted embryo. And thank you for watching this video and reviewing these questions. I promise you that I can help you and you can ask your questions in the comments and I will answer that. And in spite of my accent that is very awful, I can help you. I promise you.